Good morning, everyone. I'm back today with a guest that I've been wanting to interview for a while now, and I'm so happy that it all worked out today. This is Zo Guzman, and he is from the Pace Morby community, and Zo is a Gator. And I see his name popping up all over the place. So I know he's, kind of big in the community and active, but I don't know much about him. So I brought him on to learn from Zo. Thank you for coming on the channel today.
No, thank you, Sarah, for having me. I'm truly thankful and grateful for giving me this opportunity, giving the forum and the platform. So thank you.
I'm grateful for you as well. So Zoe, do you mind starting off just telling us a little bit about like your background and what led you up to joining the Pace Morby community as a Gator?
Yeah, it's a funny story. It was all by chance. It wasn't like I was looking for the next get rich scheme out there. So basically, I told you a little bit earlier. I still have a W-2. I'm employed. I've been at my job for 26 years.
Cool.
I'm a VP of sales for a medical supply company, manage over 20 mil, and got about 15 reps throughout the U.S. We're nationwide. Been married with my wife for 27, together for 30, high school sweethearts. So we got
Beautiful.
three beautiful kids, adults now, but kids. And we're going to be grandparents for the first time. So we're excited. My baby girl is due the 9th, my granddaughter. So I'm excited about that. So anytime now. So
Oh,
yeah, so excited about that.
awesome.
And then the Gator journey is I've been in Gator for over 2 years. And the reason why I joined Gator or how I found Gator was all by chance. So with all that being said, I have a small business as well. It's a tattoo removal. So removing
Oh,
tattoos.
wow.
Had it for a while. The employees that work for me are pretty much like family, right? So like brothers and sisters. Back in 22, all the stuff we're hearing now, I've been hearing it since back in 22. The world was going to end, recession, unemployment, all that stuff, right?
Right.
So everyone's like, scale, 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 right? Because if not, you're not going to survive this. So I went into the internet. I searched up, sales, marketing. So Grant Cardone, his sales and marketing funnel thing came up.
Yeah.
So I bought it, tried it, so that I can weather the storm that's going to happen and not have to let anybody go or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Long story short, it didn't work for me, so it just didn't work. But from there, Pace and just his master marketing campaign and the marketer that he is just started popping into my newsfeed. I don't know if it was the algorithm, just kept popping in, popping in,
Yeah.
popping in. I've always had a fascination for real estate, not really for the asset, more so for I guess you can say I was jealous of how real estate agents control their own time, did what they want to do. Like, they did what they
Yeah,
want to do, right? I do this.
for sure.
So I always had that fascination of it being your own boss. Um, so Pace starts jumping into my feed. You go down that rabbit hole as we all do, and he's just a master sales guy, and he speaks to us people as people, very
Yeah.
normal, right?
I
Not
love
trying to
that.
sell anything. So yeah, I was, and back then there was no Gator, it was just sub two. So I was all gung ho for sub two. I was going to build a portfolio out. I was going to be creative, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Start doing the generational wealth thing again, get back my time.
Hmm.
So I was ready to join sub two, called in. I just couldn't do it just because of my job demands, the demands that I have on myself, the demands of sub two. I tell people all the time I either would have been divorced or in a loony bin somewhere if I would have done it. Because I know the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
I'm that if we go to a buffet and we spend $30 for a plate, damn well we need $100 worth of food. That's just who I am. That's just who I am. And I get
You
everything
go
out of
all
it, right?
out.
So yeah. So I was like, I can't do it, it's just too much. And but I was always fascinated by it. Long story short, maybe a couple weeks, 3 weeks later, Gator kind of had opened up really for the first time, like to the general population community. It was something that was going in organically through sub two and everything else.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this is my chance to get into this creative space again.
Yeah.
So I joined Gator again, not even thinking about lending, even though I had capital, but that wasn't my mindset. I'm like, I want to buy and hold creatively. I want to build out the portfolio, right? I
Yeah.
want to be there with the Kennedys and the Rockefellers, and I want to be that. That's what I want to be. And so I joined. It was a really like an upstart company, which was kind of cool. Very novel.
Mhm.
We're all trying to figure out what we had here and what we're going to do with it. Um, uh, Going out in marketing again was easy because I'm in sales and marketing, so that's how I approached the whole entire thing. But it was cool. It was me and 300 guys. We just kind of joined, and now fast forward, there's about 12,000 in Gator.
And it
But again,
started, Gator started just 2 years ago?
Well, no, it's actually started before that, but when it actually was like something that was presented to like
Oh,
to market to general
yeah.
people to come in. Yeah,
Okay,
I
gotcha.
think he had started a year prior, like in sub two, and kind of
But not
figuring it
long.
out.
It's not been around a long time.
No, no,
Okay.
not a long time. Yeah, not a long time.
Wow.
So again, I wasn't even thinking about doing the whole the Gator stuff. I was like, all right, I'm in this community. I have
Yeah.
access now, or I thought I had access to sub two students and the creative side of it, right? So I'm gonna go network myself with these guys,
Yeah.
join a partnership, and start taking down some properties.
Yeah.
It backfired just because back then there really wasn't. I mean, there really wasn't the connection or like how we're all inclusive now, like we're all together as a community. Back then, there still was that division of premier mentorship and like this brand new little run program that just started, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't really get that interaction. You really couldn't join sub two meetups or anything because it was just kind of like, hey, this is who we are. You're down here.
Mm.
And then fast forward, so I'm like, okay, what the hell? It backfired on me, right? So I'm on this Gator thing. I might as well do something out of it, right? So I just starting to do Gator, EMD deals and all that stuff and networking. And I started getting a good following, branding myself, just going out there and just being one that leads with value and just helping people out and all that
Mhm.
within the community and just being a resource for individuals and just being my natural self, which I love about the community is that PACE allows you to do that,
Yeah.
right? And I'm a giver. Sometimes I'm a people pleaser, but that's we can have a conversation about that. But that's kind of how my natural,
Yeah.
characteristic and traits are. So I'm doing that. I'm branding myself, going out there and building a name for myself. And I would say about April, I think it was, the following year in 23, Pace came down here for his book signing. And lucky enough, I was part of the like the welcoming committee that was coming in.
Cool.
A really good friend of mine, JG Azizian, if you're familiar with him.
Not yet.
He's a sub two mastermind. Yeah, he's all about marketing in LA. He's the man, right? So we built a really great friendship, actually, not just relationship, friendship in that time. So he asked me to help with like kind of crowd control. So I was part of like the course. So I had more connection with Pace than I really did. Like just, hey, sign my book. Okay, bye. That kind of thing, right?
Right.
So we
Right.
had combos and stuff, and he had said, hey, you know what? I need you to help me with the leadership side of it. Can you do this and that or whatever? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm here to help, right? And I told my story. I still want to join sub two. I divorced my job. I still have aspirations to do that. And he's like, Zo, this is where I knew he was the real deal because he would have taken my 10 grand. I'm like, yeah, join sub two when you're ready.
Right.
He's like, don't join sub two. Just stay in Gator and kind of work on and focus on the leadership side of it, and just partner with my sub two students, and you can take down sub two properties. And this is again 4 or 5, 6 months after I joined, and I'm like, bro, like, do you know how like what you're saying is like, there's no way it can happen because I have tried and it hasn't happened, and Gator is
Yeah.
kind of like going,
Yeah.
but he saw a vision that I didn't see,
Okay.
and then fast forward, I mean, you see where we're at now today, 2 years later. It's just it's just killer. I can talk to sub two, and do deals with sub two. Now we're having sub two joint venture meetups with everybody. So he saw what I didn't see. That's what makes him great. Because I had that experience of the first 4 or 5 months where it was a little bit, like shaky, not in a bad way, but just like again, upstart company, figuring it out, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And the relationship building on the other end of it. And that's kind of what I did. And fast forward, I have those relationships with sub two. I have partnerships and teams with sub two students and Gators and all that good stuff. And yeah, just been doing my thing during that
That's
time. So that's a little bit of my journey in the last over 2 years.
That's a cool story. I actually love your candidness, your candor. And you're like, yeah, I tried that and it wasn't gonna, it didn't work and this and that.
Yeah.
And, just being very humble, very real about your, how it was a little bumpy in the beginning. So how did you, what I heard is that you focused on networking and being a go-giver, in the
Mhm.
community. How did you also get the expertise part down so that people trust, like, so that you had the knowledge to back up that, it's great that you're networking, but now you have all these connections, but you maybe don't know anything yet. How did you get that piece?
By making mistakes. That's how I got baptized by fire. Basically, is what happened to me. So again, you hear it a lot, and we were all guilty of it. That's why we're proclaiming it and saying, hey, you know what? Like from the rooftops, saying, hey, you know what? Don't chase the shiny object. Don't be that person. Do your due diligence, do all your homework, all that good stuff.
Hmm.
If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true, right?
Yeah.
chase relationships, not deals. Well, that didn't, resonate with me. I was that lone wolf that was like, hey, I'm going out here, I'm going to kill it, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I received my experiences in that educational piece of going out there and making some mistakes. And at the end of the day, I mean, it was a net sum gain. I did come up positive, but there was, ups and downs and all that
Hmm.
good stuff. And like Pace says, if you're not losing money in real estate, you're not really a real estate investor, right? So, but even with that being said, I don't like losing capital.
Right.
I like to
Right.
make good decisions. So that was my experience, and then also learning from others that were willing to pass on their knowledge as well. But more so was just going out there and just like Pace says, taking imperfect action, taking responsibility for what I did and didn't do,
Yeah.
and prepared for whatever the consequence or whatever might come out of the interaction, the conversation or the deal itself.
Yeah.
And that's where I gained my experience and I gained my stripes. At that point, I was
Nice.
going out there and just doing that. But now the great thing about that is I take those teachings and those learning lessons, right? Not losses. I don't count them as losses. I look at
Yeah.
them as more as learning experiences,
Sure.
so that I don't make the same mistakes. And now that I'm interacting with others in the community, I tell them that's pretty much the cheat code. The cheat code is get with someone seasoned that's willing to be transparent, as I am and many others, to tell you, hey, there is I guess you can say, a darker side to this, right? Be
Yeah.
prepared for it, but do all your due diligence and your homework to ensure that you mitigate the risk as much as you can, because that's all we can do.
Hmm.
And one way to do it is get with someone who's seasoned or a group that's seasoned who knows what they're doing and is emphasizing on securities opposed to securing a return, right? A lot of people bypass number one, which is securing your capital, to
Yeah.
he promised you 40%. Like that, you're never gonna get 40 if you don't, and you're gonna lose your money if you don't secure, part
Yeah.
number one. So
Yeah.
that's been my number one focus. That's why with my team members, we offer community Zooms 3 times out of the week for Gators. We do the underwriting for basic underwriting for Gators. It speaks on a lot of things, not just on the deal itself, breaking it down, the black and white numbers. We're talking about vetting title companies, borrowers, and what to look for, and red flags, yellow flags, all that good stuff. But again, being transparent, saying, look at, I got scabs, and because of the things that I did, and I have no problem in showing my,
Yeah.
my vulnerabilities and things that didn't go the way that I would expect them to go or hope them to go.
That's so cool. Yeah, you were in the trenches. You've been there, done that. You can speak from personal experience. I love what you said. Take imperfect action. That's so good. Um, and thankfully, you have the W-2, so maybe it wasn't quite as painful. Maybe when you had to take some losses, you still had income coming in.
True.
Maybe recoup from that. Um, as when you were newer and you were still learning. Um, did you find yourself a seasoned mentor?
Yeah.
And what were you able to offer them as a newbie to add value to them so that they would take you
Uh,
on?
yeah, and that again, I realized quick, honestly, and that's what I tell those that pretty much offer the same to me as well when they come to me. Hey, Zo, how can I bring value? Whatever it is. Like, look, I'm not asking for money. This is not a sales call or a pitch. Like, I'm not looking for any of that. As you can see, I'm very open and transparent. I guess that's why people, I guess I'm endearing to them because of the fact that that's just
Yeah,
who I am. I'm just very straightforward.
yeah,
But what I realized quick was a lot of people would come and say, I got 100 grand or I got capital. Whatever. Everybody has capital. That's what Gators are. We all have capital, right? So what separates yourself? What's the true value? And for me, in my journey, not only in Gator but also in life, I'm at a point now, as you can see with the Grays, I am on the back nine of my life, and time and the quality of life is number one to me. I'll trade that. I'll trade money for that all day.
way more
And,
important.
and I realize that that's the greatest thing that someone can give in any relationship, whether it be a business relationship or personal, is show up every day, be consistent, allow yourself to be held accountable, and give your time and give effort. So that's what I did. I was like, hey, look it, I'm here. I'm going to show up. What can I do? How can I make this thing? And then I learned while I earned, right? And I was
Mhm.
willing to, um, not forfeit, but maybe not get as much as I could have in return monetarily,
During that
than more so in
learning
the knowledge. Yeah.
phase. Of
Exactly.
course, of course.
Exactly. And that's why I tell others, like, just show up, be consistent, and trust me, the 90%
Yeah.
of those, well, different. The 10%, 20% of Gators that are really doing something, because there's a lot of fluff, unfortunately, in the community, but those that are actually doing some stuff, you got to find those. And a
Yeah.
lot of times they're not the ones that are posting stuff. They're just out there just doing it, grinding it, and just taking it out.
Yeah.
But if you show up with that group, they'll reward you for just being consistent and showing up and stepping up and giving your time. 100%.
That's amazing. That honestly warms my heart. That's so incredible. So thank you for sharing that. What a
No, my
huge,
pleasure.
huge piece of nugget there. I had a thought and it just went bye-bye. But
No worries.
um okay, so showing up. Oh, what so again, so a newbie that's ready to like commit to showing up and joining a real team of seasoned people. What would be the least amount of money, capital that would be valuable to show up with that a person could actually, provide value that way?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the good thing about what we do is we're scaling to we have pretty good deal source, right? Just with our, myself going out networking, not only finding money partners that want to join and invest passively, or just want to be LPs or want to learn, but don't have the time to be as active as you're gonna need to be to lead gen, because lead gen is everything, right?
Mhm.
And then also going out there and finding borrowers, credible borrowers. That's number one. That want to come in here and want to use us. And basically, what I tell every Gator and what I tell our group is like, we're trying to be the bank. So, we want to find those repeat borrowers, those good ones that want to come to us. And I tell those borrowers, look, I want to be the bank for you. That's basically what I want to be.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to look for nobody. We can service you.
Mhm.
So the great thing about our deal sourcing stuff is the way we structure with security is that a lot of times we have opportunities where we can wrestle and bring those that don't have as much capital in, but at least we're bringing them in for the experience, the
Mhm.
proof of concept, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then we mitigate the risk as low as we can. Again, like I said, everything is risky,
Sure.
but we highlight those so that they understand that. And that's the first thing I do when I go into a deal and tell someone, I go, if you're interested, look, I'm going to tell you all the bad stuff that can happen. And if you are okay with that, then we'll talk about all the good stuff, right? Because that's the good stuff. But the reality is this can
Yeah.
happen. And then what we're going to put in place to not have that and prevent that, or hope to prevent that from happening, right? Because there's things out of our control, Mother Nature,
Mhm.
just other people's mindsets and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, there really is no limit to like a minimum or a max. It just all depends on the opportunity and what we're looking to do with it.
Okay.
We're trying to bring in things that are, I have my network that I've grown the last 2 years. It's a large network of people that invest, with me and through me, and
Mhm.
whether it be Gator and actually outside of Gator. But recently I've posted some few things on Gator just to kind of open up for newer ones that want to kind of get their feet wet on some really good, secure, possibilities with really good borrowers.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, we're just trying to find a little bit of that for I guess everyone. So for everybody's appetite, those that might not have as much want to get started. The good thing is I have a partner that's part of our team who's a Gator as well that helps with the credit building side of it, also all that. So it's a great little system where we can get those that don't have much, get you
Yeah.
some credit, use
Yeah.
that credit to fund a deal. But in turn, what you're doing is you're actually leveraging that towards the banks to get more credit so that you can, get yourself. So it's a cool little thing that, we're
Yeah.
offering in service.
That is so cool, and it's amazing to me that you're not like you didn't find your group of people, and now you're like an exclusive club. Like it sounds like you really are still
Yeah.
thinking about helping the newbies that are coming on board.
Well, the reason why, honestly, you'll learn this because, again, making the mistakes, is even now more so like just trying to work with individuals. I tell people all the time, early on, yeah, sales and marketing, right? Sales is basically go out there and knock on as many doors as you can or whatever it might be, make
Yeah,
as many calls. And then you might have a small number that say, yeah, I'm interested. And then the follow up is the biggest thing, right? That's
yeah,
sales.
yeah.
It's basically like sales 101. So
Hmm.
I did that early on. It was just cast a wide net, talk to everybody. Hey, this is Zo. This is what I can do. This is who I am. I'm the OG Gator. I'm the old guy. All that good stuff. And then when you start doing that, you learn that as you go into this thing is that you want to now scale it back a little bit. I know I have to where I just want to do deals with people I know, like, and trust, and
Yeah.
people that I consider friends. And I guess
Yeah.
you can call it an exclusive group, but it really is just that connection.
Mhm.
Like before I was like trying to make a connection. Now I make those connections with intention. So I have intention when I make those connections.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. And even more so too is like, even those that have capital, let's say, oh, again, that's their value. They think, oh, I got all this money, put me in a deal. It doesn't work that way. It's like, our values are, we don't connect. And, I'm not just here to take someone's money. I have my own money as well too. I don't need your money. Right. So I'm even also, I guess you can say, vetting my money partners, people that I want to work with. Like, to be honest with you. Yeah. Just people that I want to break bread with and have a good time. I have friends coming in from, we haven't done a deal together, but we've been speaking and they're interested in doing some deals. And I've had some things come up that are flying in. I think they're from back east. They're here in LA. And she's like, Zo, can we hang out for dinner? And I go, let's do it. Right. And those are the kind of people that I want to do deals with. People that I can be myself, let my hair down, which I don't have, but just be normal, like you said, and be very transparent, and we connect. And if we don't, that's cool. I ain't mad at you. It's just, there's not a connection there, so that's kind of how I do it. So that's why we call it exclusive, but it's more so I just want to deal with people I know, like, and trust. That's it.
Right. Well, and I love how you answered that question, because I actually was thinking that I was trying to compliment you that you were not creating a club where you can't let anybody into it, because you are thinking about people that, still need to be trained and brought up and inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you also answered my question that I didn't even realize I had, in the sense of showing your character. I loved what you said. I don't need your money. I got my own money, and so, like, it's not for you and the people that you do deals with. It's not all about what a person brings to the table on paper. It's more about who they are, their values. And so you're not judging the book by its cover. You're just really trying to surround yourself with a team of really quality people.
Correct. And again, the reason why too is, again, and to go elaborate more on that, like, so I'm open to speaking to everyone, right? So before, when I lent or I did something, I was lending because I needed to. Now I'm in a position where I lend because I want to. So that's a different mindset. So when you go in that mindset, it changes things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So you can be more selective and take your time. But yeah, that's kind of where, where I'm at and what I'm doing. And again, I'm looking to speak to people that don't want to be transactional. This is where the mindset shift for me during my journey is. I was transactional. I was like, bro, when's the next one? I got to make, not make money, but I was looking for a way to get out of my job and do this full time and pay the bills. Right. So I was trying to scale it that way. And I was always, like the program has, always pivoting and finding different ways and directions that would get me there quicker and faster.
Yeah.
So I was in a transactional mindset, which there's nothing wrong with that. And I made money, right? But when it clicked and I said, I don't want to be transactional. I want to be relationship based. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. That's where everything changed. So then now that those that I want to work with, I want those that have the same mindset of not being transactional and rich, because any idiot could be rich. I want to be with those that want to be wealthy. And that's a different level of thinking at that point. Those are the people who are looking long-term and are looking for, and it's not just about me. It's about, how can I help the next generation, my kids, my grandkids, and all that. So those are the people that I connect a lot more so with, because our mindsets are, our wavelengths are, our energy is the same. And that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah. And like you mentioned earlier too, you have your priorities straight, as far as like I briefly looked at your, Facebook profile. You're big into family, and that's beautiful. And God and your, values. And I know Pace is into his family, and he's got his values straight that way as well. And so yeah, it's like you say, kind of like, settle in, don't be so transactional, be intentional, choose who you want to be around you. And, when they're around you, they're going to, by proxy, be around your families as well. So it should be an intentional thing. It should not just be like casting a huge net and bringing in everything.
Correct. And that's the reason why it was so easy for me to be comfortable in this community. Because again, in my position, I have to be abrasive at times because I'm the boss and I got the buck stops here kind of attitude. That's just not who I am. I'm a people pleaser. My wife hates it, but I just like networking and talking to people and trying to, make friends.
Yeah.
So Pace and what he's structured and how he's focused so much on community, stemming from his own personal experiences from early on, his faith and all that good stuff. You can see it here, and it allows me to be just that. That's why it's so easy for me to be like, yeah, dude, how can I help you? Like, what's up? How can I be of service? Yada yada yada. And I've
Yeah.
gotten to a point now too where it's a hard reality for me, is the people pleasing side and wanting to see people do good. There are those that do kind of, they want more than what they're willing to give back. So I have to tell myself there's moments where you have to say no, unfortunately, and it
Yeah.
hurts, but you
Yeah.
have to. But that's kind of like going through it. But I just love, again, especially around this time of the season where it's Christmas time, it's all about giving,
Yeah.
and the holidays. I love seeing someone open a gift before I even receive one. That's just my joy, right? And I'll give a
Yeah.
quick little. And this kind of sums up again my what I've been saying and who my character and who I am. Like me and my wife, again, been together for 30 years. We have three beautiful kids. My youngest is 22. We've been annual season pass holders for Disney for 22 years, pretty much,
Mhm.
almost like whatever. My kids are older. They're like, oh, they're past that, right? Whatever you do, we're still season holders because that was our first main date was like Disney, and that was
Aw.
the first time she ever gone to Disneyland was I took her, when we were young, so it was kind of like that connection. But the reason why I say that is people always ask me like we literally just yesterday, like why do you go there? Like it's never changed, yada yada yada. I go, I understand that. I go, but the reason why I love going there is because it takes me away from the craziness of the world, and two is I like to watch people, and the person that I am is like when I go into a ride that I've been on a million times, and I see that first time young little boy or girl getting off for the first time with their eyes wide open, I'm like, bro, I I kind of like relive the ride
Yeah.
through them,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
gets me excited. I'm like, look at this guy, I don't even know what's about to happen. Like just
That's
like
so cool.
and that
Yeah.
just brings the I guess the youth back into me and all that good stuff. So I love seeing it through the eyes of someone else, and that's kind of my character. I
Yeah.
like to see someone else's, like I can applaud you and praise someone else's wins all day, every day. Twice on
And
Sunday. That's just who I am, man.
and that's a secure person. You're secure in who you are, and you're able to and you're not self-absorbed and narcissistic. You're able to just look outside and appreciate the journey that other people are taking,
I love it. Yeah,
because you've been there,
yeah.
done that yourself as well. That's so cool. I love that analogy. And you just brought up something that's just a funny random fact about me, since you mentioned Disneyland and it was your first date and everything. Apparently, so my parents tell me I was conceived at Disneyland.
That makes me think. There's a couple of rides that I could think of.
Uh, Pretty funny. It's a magical place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
All
That
right,
is
my friend.
awesome.
Well, I can't wait to get to know you better off camera, and this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time today, and for sharing everybody who you are, what you're about, and giving people inspiration that they don't have to have a lot to offer. They just have to be themselves. They have to be willing to show up, be consistent, put in the work, be a good human being, be somebody that other people want to be around and
Exactly.
spend time with. And then look at your example too. In just a matter of a few short years, you can succeed. Everyone can do this.
100%. We all can make money. The making money part is easy, to be honest with you. It's super, super easy. It's just you got to find that group that you want to make money with. And I prefer to do it with people, like I said, know, like, and trust, and people that I consider friends. So,
I
what
love
better
that.
way to make money, right?
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep that close to my heart, because that was a powerful one. Just find the group of people you want to make money with. I love that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. All right.
my
Have a
pleasure. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
You too. Bye.
Okay.